domestic football league in Nigeria. If there's another, please tell me, Babajide. At the sight of this, Babajide, let me begin with you. How did you see all that played out yesterday, especially when you saw that on screen? Fans throwing chairs, throwing petals at players, beaten players in that match between Kwara United and Rivers United. Please tell me how you felt at seeing that.
Well, I mean, it's not a good sight to witness and to see. I should have been in that stadium also yesterday, the George Innie Stadium, but I had, assignment at the office, so I had to stay back there. But I must tell you again that I have colleagues who were present there, 5 of them who were present there, and it wasn't, I mean, all of them right now, when they tell the story, they still have really bad memories of it. I mean, on that 24 hours from yesterday, I have a particular colleague of mine who is Sadiq Adibara, who works, of course, with, Radio Nigeria. And he says even up till now, he's still not recovered from what happened. For journalists who were there, who covered that game after the encounter, they had to stay back for their safety because, of course, you can't even go out. So they had to stay back in the press center. But most of them left probably 7 p.m. or thereabout. I mean, we saw everything. We saw it up. I mean, we've seen videos of even how young football fans were targeting even players of Kwara United. In one particular clip, the goalkeeper Suraj, so he was also, of course, confronted by 1 or 2 of these youth, and he had to also run for safety in some of the clips that we've also seen there. It is not, the kind of advertisement you want for Nigerian football, for the NPFL. And I mean, clearly from yesterday, every word that has been peddled has been bringing this football, bringing the game to disrepute. And you could even see even now from today's, report from the NPFL, we're hearing now that they've just released, something as regards, punishment for Kwara United, and the NPFL also specifically used the word bringing the game to disrepute. As we speak with you right now, Kwara United, according to the report now, and the memo coming from the NPFL, they have now been punished. From what we're hearing that Kwara United are going to receive some serious, ban. 3 points has been docked. 3 goals also has been docked. From the officials. From what we hear, we also right now hear that Kwara United has been banished, to the stadium in Abeokuta. And of course, we also hear that they have now been ordered. The club has been ordered to present those individuals who were pictured and videoed, causing that disruption yesterday. And it's not good times if you're a fan of Kwara United, if you're a journalist in Kwara State covering Kwara United, because what it means right now is that you don't get to see your darling club in Kwara State till the end of the season. We have 10 or 11 more games to go plus to the end of the season. All their games now will be played in Abeokuta as we speak. And I mean, there goes the home advantage. We have not had the home advantage for Kwara United so far this season. And now we have to then play our home games away from home, plus away matches. Kwara United have not won away from home this season. So it's almost as though the club is now condemned, to be relegated. I mean, the 3 points that has now been docked from the club also means that they've been plunged back into the bottom 4 of the relegation zone, alongside sides like Remo Stars and all.
All right, Babajide, I really appreciate you for bringing us up to speed with that update from the Nigeria Premier Football League and the decision that they have made concerning Kwara United, who have brought the game into disrepute. Let's talk about that instruction and directive from the board saying they must identify those who have perpetrated this act. Babajide, Jidechi, how is it possible? Because I've never seen clubs identify whoever, even with the videos making the rounds on social media, making the rounds on broadcast medias. Of course, we don't get to see this club bring out the perpetrators and punish them. So do you think that is achievable, that's feasible for Kwara United? Let me begin with Jidechi. Even with all the directives and all the fines and all the sanctions that we've heard right now from Babajide from the Nigeria Premier Football League.
I'm glad you say we've seen this over and over again. It's not the first rodeo. I worked in the league actively with one of the clubs between 2014 to 2018, 2019, 2020, and these are things that we are norm, right? A club does this, or the club's fan base does this, and the clubs are asked to bring this message. It never happens. I think it's best we get realistic with the kind of punishments we are meting out, right? Yes, 3 points, financial implications and all of that is very helpful, and also taking the club away from their home stadium. I think these are the things. It's best we stick to these things, because let's be honest with ourselves. How many of our clubs have a registered fan base, a registered account of all the members of their fan base, even the ones that they are supporters club? How many of the supporters club do we know by name and perhaps by location? If, say, we wanted the league body to arrest these people, can they actually find them? And let's be honest, some of the clubs are also complicit. I've been in situations, I've been in stadiums where I'm seeing club officials also instigate some of these things. So, I mean, it's always funny when we hear these things. And we have the league also.
Okay.
Always talking about bringing the league to disrepute. I will not go to that side. But if you do not want your league to be brought into disrepute, you need to ensure there have to be solid plans to stop this thing. Year in, year out, we have at least 1 to 2 of the situations. We need to look for long-lasting solutions, because it looks like the clubs right now, a club like Kwara United, to them, they feel, okay, the 3 points, the 3 goals that would be deducted is not enough. If we play at our stadium eventually, maybe after 5 games, we'll be back home. It's all back to normal. We need to look for lasting solutions for fan violence.
I think that's what the NPFL should do, or should be expected to be doing at the moment, but we don't see that. Bajide, let me return to you right now. 3 points deducted means that it's going to be a bad state for Kwara United, because looking at the bottom of the table, of the NPFL table, I can see that they're sitting 16th on the table at the moment, if nothing has changed. Yes, they're still sitting 16th on the table, just above the relegation zone, just above the relegation zone by goal difference. And it's something to worry about. Now 3 points will be deducted from their current point being garnered after 26 games played. This is not a good one, but it's looking like they're not going to survive the season this time around. They're not going to survive staying in the top flight this season. I would really like to weigh the options. Is having to banish or even disqualify teams too much a punishment for teams who engage in crowd violence like this? Because I know the players were not involved, but these are the fans having to put the players in a very, 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 rough position, because these players can also return whatever treatment that has been meted to them. Do you think banishment of a club away from the top flight or a demotion is too much for the NPFL to use as stringent measures for fan violence like this?
I was hoping you're not going to ask me this question, because I mean, over the last few years on the job as a sport producer, presenter on the shows, I've been one of the major proponents for effecting and enacting the ban on clubs who of course fall short and their fans encroach on the pitch and assault match officials or the opposing teams there. Especially with the canopy situation that happened this season, I was part of those, especially on social media, on X, clamoring, for a more stiffer punishment. In fact, I was disappointed when canopy eventually, were reinstated back to their home ground. Even the 3 point that was docked was eventually again reinstated. And I'm part of those who feel if you have a history of constantly doing this, assaulting match officials, assaulting the away side that comes to your home ground to pick up point, I'm part of those who would say, they deserve stiffer punishment, like you said, a complete demotion. But for a club like Kwara United, they have not been involved in anything like this in the last 10 years, to the best of my knowledge, in terms of crowd disturbance, crowd violence. And I think for a club like Kwara United, given the circumstance of relegation, given the circumstance again of allegations leveled at the doorstep of even the center referee, I had the opportunity to speak with the coach of Kwara United this morning, and he still feels aggrieved with what he feels were questionable officiating decisions on the pitch yesterday. Same with the fans. Not that they justify their actions, the fans encroaching to the pitch and all. But they felt that was also, a means to provoke the reaction.
I beg your pardon, Babajide. Let me come in here.
I will not be in support for a club like Kwara United.
I beg your pardon, Babajide. I'm sorry to cut your thought. I'm sorry to cut short your thought, but I would like to happen something you said. Of course, you said Kwara United are first-time offenders when it comes to their fans having to encroach on the pitch.
In the long run.
But don't you think that what gave leverage to these fans doing this, because decisions did not go their ways, because of what they have seen from other clubs who have perpetrated these acts and are being given just fines? Don't you think that can be a spoiler to them going awry when things don't go their way? Because of precedents.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, you're right about that. And which is why I believe clubs must also play a huge role in ensuring that they sensitize the fans thoroughly. I was very happy with the statement that was swept yesterday from Kwara United management that clearly stated that they were going to once again reinstate, their sensitization campaign that they have embarked upon over the last few months, over the last few years, sensitizing the fans on radio, on various platforms in Ilorin, in Kwara State, about the need for fans to continue to maintain decorum. Let us not forget, a game was played over the weekend on Sunday, Kwara United at home to Canopilas, and that game ended in a draw. But the fans were also calm about that situation. The fans at no point did they encroach onto the pitch, or of course, have to go at the match officials or the opposing teams in that. So again, I'm not trying to justify, and I will never do that. In fact, I'm part of those who want huge penalties for individuals who again, do what the fans of Kwara United did just 24 hours ago. But I'm part of those also who feel for a club like Kwara United, given its history in the NPFL, given again, this is a club where even the general manager who was assaulted, sadly, praised them just few hours before that time. He praised the club. He praised the city itself for being peaceful, for being truly accommodating. NPFL officials have also come to the Kwara State Stadium and praised them also for being really accommodating. It's just a sad incident that has happened yesterday that deserves its punishment. But I believe again that for clubs like Kwara United, maybe not really, but for the others who have been serial offenders, they are deserving of punishment as severe as demotion, if you ask me.
Okay, thank you so much, Babajide. We do appreciate it. We're hoping that those who sit and make decisions at the Nigeria Premier Football League can be able to listen, hear this, and be able to take actions against crowd violence, tell clubs to educate their fans, just like Kwara United have been able to do. I'm sure that they've got a great PR person who is doing a great job in handling this crisis at the moment. It's a different thing to handle crisis when they come at you. Thank you so much, Babajide. We appreciate your thoughts on the show.